Introduction. Sales has never been an easy profession, but our research shows that more salespeople than ever are struggling to make their numbers. Over the last 5 years, the percentage of salespeople making quota dropped by 10 points. The percentage of companies achieving revenue also dropped by nearly 4 points. If you're in senior leadership, this performance decline can be incredibly frustrating. You've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in CRM solutions and other technologies designed to make your salespeople more productive and effective. You've put considerable funding into developing training programs and sales collateral. You've honed your hiring practices and sought to attract top-notch talent with a proven track record in your industry. So why aren't you seeing a return on your investment? Our answer is simple. Today's sales organizations are not keeping up with and adapting to the pace of change. We all know how quickly things change. Just think about what you can do with the phone you use today as compared to the one you used just 5 years ago. From the technology itself to the apps that are available, the difference is night and day. However, few of us take the time to think about the macro forces of change all around us and how they impact the profession we're in. We're not talking about the small things like the release of the latest iPhone, or even more dramatic events like an economic recession that can have a real but often temporary impact on our opportunities. Instead, we're talking about the really big changes that irrevocably shape the world we live in and how we sell. The macro forces of change. To understand this, we need to start with 5 important macro-level changes. You'll probably be familiar with each of these to some extent, but what we want to look at is how they are impacting the sales profession. Digital first, disruption and consumption. The release of the latest smartphone technology certainly falls into this category, but it is much broader than that. McKinsey estimates that the Internet of Things has the potential to impact the global economy by as much as $11 trillion by 2025. This impact will be the result of changes in the way businesses collect and leverage data for better decision-making, and the way consumers use technology to interact with sellers. As sales become more technologically driven, desirable skill sets will shift from strictly soft skills, like relationship building, to include harder skills, like data analysis. In some cases, the best candidates may not even come from the field of sales. Emerging middle class. In the developed world, the number of people with middle-class buying power has remained relatively stagnant and, in some cases, has even declined. However, in many emerging economies, the opposite is true. By 2025, the middle class is expected to have increased by 153% around the world, with the greatest increases coming from countries in the Asia-Pacific region. To tap into this new buying power, companies are going to have to staff a sales force with professionals from countries and cultures that may be different from those of their current sales force. These new hires will have unique enablement needs. Increased urbanization. Many geographies are also moving from primarily agrarian-based economies to heavily industrialized economies supported by growing cities. As many as 65 million people are moving to cities every year. That's the equivalent of adding 7 new Chicagos, including surrounding suburbs, 5.5 new cities the size of Paris metro area, or almost 2 new cities to rival Shanghai every year. What were once small urban areas will grow into commerce power centers, as people and industry flock to these cities in the hope of new opportunities and an improved lifestyle. Companies will need to adapt both their market and go-to-customer strategies to adapt to new opportunities and new competitors that are sure to emerge. Productivity and the aging workforce. In more mature markets, workers are hitting retirement age faster than they can be replaced with new recruits.